All right, welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Daybreak Extra. We have our second guest in the studio this morning. We're being joined by Hada Otaki, and he's an author and a poet. He's the author of poetry collection Give Me Award. He loves art and was featured in BBC Media Action's political advocacy last year. It's good to have you, Hada, on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so how did it begin with you? When did you realize that you wanted to be a poet first and then an author?
Let me see. I'm not sure. I just woke up one day wanting to be a writer. And in fact, I cannot remember a time in my life that I wasn't writing or scribbling something down. But one particular experience I remember so well, I was in primary 5.
Okay.
Then my school mistress, then my class mistress, Mrs. Weke, used to send me to the post office to post letters for her. So I think it was at that particular time in my life that I discovered the wonder of words, that I could use it to communicate with someone so far away. So I tried an experiment. I had this uncle then who was staying at Obalende. I had his address. So I decided to write my own letter to him also. So whenever my class mistress sent me on errand to go post her letters, I would always have my own letter to post to my uncle. I'm not sure if you received those letters back then, but I know that I posted quite a few. Then in primary 5, I think that was in the mid-90s or so, there was this program on air, they call it Speak Out.
Okay.
It was just Speak Out.
On NTA.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just a bunch of kids from private schools coming on air to speak fancy English and everything. So
exactly.
I was so taken by that, and I wanted to so much to be among those kids and everything. So, because mostly they read people letters on air, so I thought, okay, let me try and write my own letter to them. So I wrote my letter to them, and funny enough, it was read. And the day that it was read, I was not even around. I think I was playing outside, but later my friend told me that, your stuff was read online, blah, 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 and everything. I was very happy that they read my letter and everything. Then I went to school the following day, and then my friends were telling me that, dude, your letter was read on speaker and everything. So, for that few seconds, I just became this celebrity that letter was being read on and since then, writing has been part of my life.
That's actually great. I mean, like I can relate to something like that because back in the days, we really used to watch Speak Out a lot.
Yeah.
It inspired a lot of things.
Exactly.
In you. I mean, like you would want to do that. I mean, like if those guys can do it, why can't you? That sort of thing. But do we have those kind of things now for children to actually look at and aspire to?
Because people say that we lack reading culture nowadays and everything. But I feel that it's still there. Maybe because we are just older now, we are not looking at those programs or watching those programs again. But I believe maybe they've improved on some of those programs. I'm sure they are still there.
But the concept is fantastic. Really.
The concept fantastic, honestly. I mean, you watch these kids on TV,
exactly.
and you'll be so inspired. And there was one again, Kiddy Vision 101.
Exactly.
Yes,
when you have kids being media people, I mean, like absolutely
it was
fantastic.
so inspiring. So I think those are some of the things that actually just inspired me on. Despite the fact that I've been writing for like quite a few years before then, but some of those programs actually inspired me, and I was like, okay, I like this thing that I'm doing. But it wasn't poetry for me then. It was just writing whatever just comes to my mind.
Okay, now we were talking about I Need to Know, the likes of I Need to Know that made Funke Akindele, and then Kitty's Vision itself that made them really. But aside that, why poetry? Because a lot of people would actually say poetry is actually quite difficult. It takes a lot of creativity. It takes a lot for you to actually be able to construct and align and do all that stuff when it comes to poetry. Why that?
I think when I started leaning towards poetry was in my secondary school days. I think I was already in my senior class. Poetry just happened to be something that I love the language, the metaphor, the meters, and you could just see something and just turn the language around, and it mean a whole lot of things to you. I don't know, for me, it speaks a different language for me.
Okay.
It speaks a different language to me. And when I constructed my own first poem, and I look at, back then, you want to write letters to girls and you want to use writing to like word girls and everything.
Exactly.
So poetry was one of those things that, okay, I think I could use to like, get girls and everything. So I was...
Did it work?
Yes, it did. So I was writing love poems and everything. But it felt very good. Then in my senior year in SS2, I also represent my school in one poetry competition, I think in Calabar or then.
Okay.
So I wrote my first official poem. And, you know, my people, they were guiding me. They loved the poem, though it needed some editing and everything, but it was great. And though I didn't later make it to the competition and everything, but I think I wrote my first official poem that I still have up to date, far back as 2001, 2002. Yeah, so, but poetry has, and since then, poetry has been part of my life. Yeah.
So what inspired you to have a collection of your poems and put them in a book?
You know what they say about writer, that sometimes you're always scared of putting your work out there because there's a version of yourself that you don't want to reveal to the world and everything. So for many years, I was scared of that. You know, I was just writing for me. But at a particular time, I thought to myself that you can't just, your art is not just for you to keep. You need to share it with the world. Someone could relate to it and everything. So I think about 2 years ago, I just sat down and I was thinking that, look, you have this poem that just lying down around. Why not just put them together, form a manuscript, and just see how it goes from there? So I came up with my manuscript, my first manuscript. Then I called my friend Bash Amneni, a great guy. He's a friend, a brother, and someone that I look up to. So I called him that, Bash, look, I have this collection of poems, like a manuscript that I want to publish. I want you to take a look at it for me and see and probably edit it for me. So I sent it to him. Then he gave me a great advice that, look, I'm going to introduce you to this professional editor. He's going to take a look at it and give you a professional, constructive, whatever that you need. So he gave me the number of this guy called Kautevi, great guy. So I sent my manuscript to him, and the rest is history, as I said.
Okay, where do you get your ideas from, and what's your writing process like?
My ideas, I read a lot, because I believe that you can never be a writer without reading first. You need to read. So I read a lot. I read wild. So my style of poetry is not particular. Like the way I'm meeting you now, maybe from what we said, discussed, I could take 1 or 2 things with me, and sometimes back I might just put it into poetry. It might just be there. I might not even know it will be there. But you know, as time goes on, it will just start resurfacing, and I have to just put it into poetry. So I love listening to people's story. I love taking from whatever I see. And one other thing that inspires me daily is that, do you know that you meet unique people every day? Take for instance, I've never met you before. I'm just meeting you for the first time now for as long as I've been living. So I like that. I like the fact that I could just meet someone and they will just strike something. And I normally put it in my poetry.
All right, well, I'm going through I'm going through this, and I can see that you make mention of some names here that appear quite local. I'm seeing Oneshi, I'm seeing Deba here, and a lanky man from Kiana as well. And so would you say that your background actually influences what you write?
Yeah, as a kid who was who was born and brought up in Lagos. Yeah, I didn't grow up at home. I grew up with my dad in Lagos and everything. So a few years ago, I moved down here, and I've been going back to my roots. And I find it very interesting. I'm from Natural State, Kiana, Alago people. I'm Alago by tribe.
Hence the Kiana they say.
Yes, exactly. So, and I find out that we just have this rich culture that is just there, untapped. So I feel that, okay, I could actually infuse some of my dialect into my poetry. And when I tried that experiment, it was amazing. Because even some people that have read the book and they saw that local names, and they get curious, that, what does this mean? They like the sound, how it sounds and everything. And when I tell them the meaning, they get so intrigued.
Because I'm just looking at it for the first time, and that was what struck me.
Exactly. So, and that's what I aim to achieve, that, okay, yeah, what if I put some Alago language in here and how it will be perceived and everything? And the reception has been great so far. People always like call me up, what does this mean? What does Otusha mean? What does Onishi mean? Like you were asking earlier,
exactly.
So.
Okay, well, we're actually talking to a poet and an author, also a writer, Hada. Let's take a look at this and we'll be right back.
To wait for election day as if the constitution is not infant taken off. We ripped the anchor that bind us as brothers as if the ship has no port. We come, open-hearted, bleeding red wine from all the celebration of our acoustic faith. We waited too long beside the bucket of ideas we are afraid to drink from. Now we are drowning in an empty pool because water is too little for our sinking bodies. Everyone in this city of the apparition is waiting on the tide of hope to resurrect the giants of our father's land. But here we are, weakened from all the battles we failed to fight because our limbs are broken from procrastination, stagnant from the lift resilience we are known for. And now, the wheels of change are oiled for locomotion, for consolation of our voices to sing us into the realm of a new dawn. For unity is what makes the broom a tool for cleansing. So let's hold hands like chain, braid our differences into a cornrow, not because you are Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Alago or Idoma, but as one nation, the people of color of God existing in this place only we must make habitable. This place that has taught us how to be unbreakable, how to be at our boiling points and not melt under the sun, how to navigate our strength in the right direction like compass. This place, this green, never-ending flatlands of natives happening at the same time. To be here is to know the color of love is green, for no matter how dangerous the forest is, the mouse cannot leave it for the sea. Learning how to live together is what we are created for, because the future depends on our survival for the next generation to bloom. So let this poem be a revitalization of courage that will paddle us safely out of this turbulence of power.
All right, can you actually tell us a bit about this particular poem? What's the title, and how did you come about it, and what's it about?
Okay, so last year I was connected to this person from BBC Media, Chibuike, from BBC Media Action. So they actually selected a group of spoken word artists. They want them to use poetry as a tool to promote the Nigerian brand. So we are commissioned to write a piece like that. So I wrote this piece. It's titled "This Place." It's about Nigeria. Often people like spoken word artists, people are always writing angry poems about Nigeria, what we are going through and everything. So we wanted to change the narrative. That what if I should write, something hopeful about Nigeria, that, okay, yeah, it's not all about whatever is going on, the corruption and everything. Why not something very hopeful? So I came up with this idea, this place. This place means Nigeria. So, and that was how this piece came about. It took me a while, like a month or plus or so, but, finally got it together, and I recorded it with BBC last year.
Usually when poets decide to publish books like this with a collection of poems inside, they usually have other people's poems as well, apart from theirs. Is that the case with you?
No, these are all my poems.
What inspired you to do that?
Because I wanted the spotlight to be on me now.
Oh, really? So this is all about you now?
No, so this is all about me now.
So is it right for us to say that this is like an extension of who you are?
Yes, it is. And that's the scary part.
Yes, well, that's the thing, because I've read a couple right now, and it is kind of scary.
I know, to be honest, I know.
All right, but it is actually scary in a good way. I mean, like, everybody has his own scary part, and that's how it is. I mean, like, it's only the bravest among us that can actually put it out there. So it's a good one for you there.
Thank you very much.
Have you tried writing anything else apart from poetry? What else do you write?
I write stories. I love stories a lot.
Fiction?
Yes, I'm a fictional person.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a fictional person. Because I believe that even God has to be a writer, like a fictional writer, right? For us to all exist, this environment and everything. So I feel that I could create my own environment, create my own words, fix my own character, give them personalities and environment. I like that idea so much. So I'm a fictional person.
Okay. So do you have like short stories, or are you working on something? No.
Yeah, I've been working on this this novel for a while now, for some years now.
Okay.
Yes, I'm almost halfway through, and I'm so excited about it, because when your writing is going well, you're always very excited and everything. And when it's not going well, you have this depression and everything. But right now, it's going so well, and I'm happy about it. So I'm working in a novel right now. So, and I'm looking at maybe towards the end of next year or sometime upper year.
Wow.
Yeah, for publication.
Quite a long time to
Yeah.
Well, I think if he says he's halfway through and he's thinking of finishing next year, I think it's quite close.
Because this
late next year.
Yes.
And upper
I mean,
year.
like, these things take a lot.
because this is the thing with writing. You know, writing is another thing, but editing is a
It's
different thing
something else,
entirely.
and
You
as
could
well.
they could start editing your work for it. You could take a year.
Okay, now you're actually working on your second book, and I know most writers actually go on a literary pilgrimage.
Yes.
Did you go on any? Or
Not-
have you gone on any?
Not yet, but there's one I applied for recently. They call it Year and Now Residency.
Okay.
So I'm hopeful that by the end of this month we'll like get the feedback and everything. If you're, you know, because I really want to go on one of these residencies.
Yeah.
Yes. So I applied for one, which is going to take place next year.
Okay, so now we know this particular book, Give Me a Word, is, you know, a compilation of poems,
Yes.
right? Why the title, Give Me a Word?
Okay, so this wasn't the first title.
Okay.
I had a series of titles. The first title, like I think it was called A Poet Scared Me Once.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the first title that came to my mind. So my editor actually advised me to change it. So I listed few, and the one that just jumped at me was Give Me a Word. Yeah, Give Me a Word. So when I came up with the title, then I called my friend in Lagos, Melvin. So he's a graphic designer, great guy. So he's the one that came up with that, the cover, the cover design.
Okay.
So when he just came up with that and everything, like as if you're trying to grab the word, the whole thing just aligned. So I just left the title like that, Give Me a Word. And there's a poem titled Give Me a Word in the collection also.
Okay, okay.
Right. That's like the title track.
The title, exactly, the title track.
All right. Well, that's nice. You mentioned quite a number of people that you've actually worked with. Okay.
Yeah.
People that have edited your work, people that have published your work, people that designed your work for you.
Yeah.
So, how advantageous has it been for you to actually know these people and work with these people, and how have they been able to move your work to the next level?
Okay, like I mentioned before, I spent all my life in Lagos. So I recently moved to Abuja 2019, and in 2020 I met this great guy, Basha Muneni. Yes, and we're from the same state. He's he's an international poet and everything. He's also an author. So I think he has been the one, you know, showing me around Abuja, meeting people and everything. And when I came to 19, the first place I went to was Abuja Literary Society.
Okay.
It's a community of writers or non-writers that just, you know, they have this enthusiasm for the creative. So they come around like every first Friday and second Friday of the month for your open mic and everything. And you see all kind of people there that just come to listen to poetry or any kind of art at all. So from there, I've been building my network, meeting one or two people, and it has been great so far. And funny thing is that Abuja, it has this healthy literary society. It's amazing, actually. So, and once you are in there, it's, you know, it doesn't take long for you before you connect to one or two people, and they're all very welcoming and all.
Okay, so if you had an advice to give your younger self, what would it be?
Why the hell did you read more?
Why what?
I didn't read more when I was young. Like, I wish I had read more, honestly, because I feel that if you are going to be a great writer, you need to read. There's no shortcut to it. You need to read and read, because you have the whole of your time to like read when you're younger and everything. But as you get older, responsibility sneaks in and everything. So, but I wish I had read, you know, much more when I was younger.
But you still find time to now?
Yes, I read every day. I'm always in the middle of a book. Yes.
What's your advice to do that? I'm talking to you, Brian. Don't worry. That's a story for another day.
Yeah, it should be a story for another day, because you did not raise your voice when you asked it. So I'm definitely sure there's an undertone to it. I'm definitely sure there's an undertone to it, and there's an ulterior motive to you
I
asking.
know, there's no ulterior motive. I just have your best.
Whatever question it is you asked, I knew there's an ulterior motive to it.
All right. So aside advising your younger self, what advice do you have for, you know, up and coming writers?
Okay, so I see that, you know, social media is everywhere these days, and, you know, people just want to like be fancy with what write for social media and everything. And I tell younger writers that, look, before you put your work out there, make sure that you actually work on your craft. don't just write for the media. Don't just write for like, this work is deep, this is dope and everything. I mean, write and find, you know, find mentors, find people that, okay, they will actually constructively critique your work and tell you the truth. Not just your friend telling you that this is deep, dope and everything, and they won't tell you the truth. You understand? Make sure you work on your art and make sure you read and read.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Hada Otaki, for joining us on the show this particular morning. Thank you. It was an awesome time, spending this particular time with you.
Thank you.
All right. So that was Hada Otaki. He's a writer, poet, and also an author. And with this, we'll actually take a break, and we'll actually watch My Daily Hustle right about now. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show.
Aisha to Hamza. The time when I start with corn. I dey cook corn. From there, I come gather small thing. Gather 4,000 naira for game. I start with vegetable, ugu, alefo with water leaf, ewedu, okra. Come dey do am small. Before God can help me, I can't get shop. And they collect many challenging insult for customer hand. But you wey knows what you did, what you can't find for Abuja, you go patient for customer. Customer is always right. So I do am small. It helped me well. I thank God, business is a business. My 3 children dey university. One day her husband house. I don't build house for village, I build for Abuja here where I live. I thank God, business good. Even though person they do government work, e good men carry business more join am, especially women. Case any day where your husband no get anything to come house, inside that business, we go carry some support house that day so that fight no go dey house, peace go reign. I dey buy bag of rice start 1,000. Pamudu na 1,000, and it dey inside the bag 36 mudu. Beans I dey measure. If I carry beans bag, that kokoro go enter inside the beans, go spoil them. I know they buy bag. I dey measure that one 20 mudu. I dey make, the thing dey inside pack. That inside 1 pack of Lipton, we dey buy am 220. And the thing dey inside 25 pieces. We dey sell am 350 naira. Little gain still dey inside. Holiday for school now, then the University of Kano. Now holiday carry them come, they help me before they resume go back again. So say if it's something cost, you to buy them, you go get your own, because what you buy now you go sell. I advise them make them they do it. The business good. It go help you when you be woman, and it go help your husband. If your mother call you from village, no be every time when your mother call you from village, you feel keep on for your husband say, may you come give me something before I send to my mother. No. If they do business, inside that your business, as your mother call you, say, things they okay now. Are they hungry? Inside that your business, carry you to send to them. Before your husband come house, you go come tell and say to my mother, even come you. But say you don't go work. The one way you did my hand, and don't already send them to how. The business don't help you for that area with that. Business good. Any woman where you sit down, they wait for husband, and just they waste your time. Get business, your husband no collect your money. That one are your own. Go take and support anything where your husband give you, go take and support them. What you go do? Say everything they okay before, but this time all the food, everything just high. So as a customer don't see say everything high, no be our hand dey, then too they buy am like that. We get one local one at the sell am 800 mudu, foreign one 1,000, red garri 500, white one 350. So they sell. We get alebo, white alebo day, we dey sell that one 300 mudu. Black alebo, that is yam oil, we dey sell am 500 mudu. We dey count pomo 3,500, 200 naira. We dey count am 3,500. We dey sell am 200. Inside the 500 naira, 100 naira be our own inside. Fish we dey carry am carton 49,000. And we dey see 70 pieces inside the carton. We dey sell some, all of them no dey the same size. 1,900, 700, 800. Na so we dey mix and dey sell. So any woman wey you know, wey you fit hustle, if you dey hustle, may you forget say people go dey laugh you, shame dey catch you say wetin I dey sell. The time wey I put ugu, I go Lube market buy ugu 500 naira bunch, buy all of them small small. Some customers say, aunty I dey here. You say but wetin you dey sell when you dey come, you say you dey here. I say too. But the one wey still like me go branch come buy am. But so I no get market, they go buy am. God come help me for this one. Any little way they get for women, may they no think say too small. Waiting this one go reach me by. No, anyhow go buy a small before you know, God go put blessing for you. You go come big. If I go market, I dey go some market, I dey go Karuma, I dey go Gariki. If I go na drop, I dey carry. I no dey buy one. If I buy garri, I go buy beans, buy rice, yam. I go buy 100 pieces of yam. Everything I go buy am. Sometimes motor go collect 2,500, 3,000. So inside all this one, you go see your inside the fish, say only fish, you go see your transport. Fish, chicken, turkey, you go provide the transport. The remaining one, if you sell them, the gain na your own. No, you are patient too. Like this ugu now, you go buy all this one, especially ugu, water leaf, green, ewedu, okra. This one they bring money pass all this food stuff. If you get that one, you will sell that one alone. They make money pass all this one. But it's good when a person get this one, join them together. May the person have patience. If they do them every day by day, before you know, money don't come. And you too go surprised, say, wetin I put for table where God help me like this. Na patience for everything. Now the thing where they talk, now make I no call. All my customers know say me I dey call them. Until I come, brother, why come? Why they here? When I remember me, Madam Kogi dey here. I go dey call them. All of them don't know. As my children they would they talk. Now make I no call custom. That office one, I advise them make them get small shop for their house. If you come back for office, you don't eat, you go enter your shop. That one you go they bring small money before month ending. You know, go scratch head, say, wetin I go take today, wetin I go use today. That house, that shop, go to help you before you collect your salary.
All right, with that, we've come to the end of, Daybreak Extra right here on Trust TV. It was awesome. We had a good time, right?
Yes, it was absolutely
really
a blast.
It was really interesting, having to interview guests today and also talking about a few stories happening in Nigeria. Until next week, Saturday, I remain Dasha and Husseina Usman. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend.
And I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Let's do it all again next week. Have a lovely weekend.